This show is sponsored by Audible. I know you were following along last week with the instructions on how to get your free trial, so I'll try to speed this along, pick up where we left off. Now that you have your browser open, just go ahead, click the address bar, and type in this: audibletrial.com/AGT. Yeah, we got that URL. We beat NBC to it. And that'll get you 30-day free trial, which is basically like a free book. And as far as I'm aware, that's yours to keep. So, you know, get after it. And have a great time in your life. Goodbye now. Now, listen to me talk about AGT for an hour. Okay, bye.
'Cause baby, you're all that I want. When you're lying here in my arms, I find it hard to believe we're in heaven.
Welcome to our 8th episode of our Season 8 rewatch of America's Got Talent. I'm Cody Patterson. Along with me is the guy who is not the heavyweight tummy champion of the world. Here's Cody Mims.
Hello. I was sadly defeated recently.
Yeah, Tummy Talk. We'll have a lot to talk about on Tummy Talk.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can, if you have any comments for us or questions, or you want to reach out to us at all, you can reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter at AGTcast. You can also send us an email, agtcast@gmail.com. We do ask that if you send us an email, please put in the episode that you're talking about and the act. That really helps us identify what we need to talk about. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions about anything we've already talked about in our previous 7 episodes, or anything that we're going to talk about down the road, we still got a lot of AGT going of Season 8.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Well, we had an interesting episode tonight. Our 4th episode for Quarterfinals. And we still have a whole nother episode of Quarterfinals to go. It seems like we've been here forever.
Yeah, I don't know how many rounds there were in season 11, but 5 is a lot.
5 is a lot. I don't remember how many there were either, but I don't feel like it was this many.
Yeah, there's a lot of acts though. I kind of like the variety, just not getting, a lot of repeats.
That is true. We're getting a lot of variety, and the acts. It doesn't seem like any of the episodes are heavy weighted. Production does a pretty good job at probably knowing what they have and how to break up the acts.
Yeah.
Well, you ready to get into the show?
Of course.
Well, we start off with 3 penny chorus and orchestra, and we saw them in auditions, and they sang Call Me Maybe. We now see them walking around New York. They probably did the famous thing you mentioned in the last episode, where they stand in Times Square and kind of just the camera spins around them. They said that people see classical music as antiquated and out of touch, that it's not fun. You've commented a couple times your feelings about classical music and opera.
Yeah.
We find out that there have been some showmances happen in the group.
Exciting.
You know what a showmance is?
A romance in showbiz.
Yep, that's right. We find out there are 2 married couples, and also the director and one of the singers just got engaged. Magical times are happening in New York City.
Yeah, this whole intro was really nice.
It was really nice. Yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Once we got through with the intro, then they went right into their act, and they sang "We Are Never Getting Back Together" by Taylor Swift. They had some LED lights on all of the instruments. What'd you think of this?
I liked the lights on the violins. It's kind of illuminate style. This song isn't really all that great though. I wasn't so much of a fan. I wasn't really a fan of the last one either. The judges were, because that song, "Call Me Maybe," is a bit more orchestral than this one anyway. That might have had something to do with it, but yeah, I don't know. They didn't win me over.
I actually really liked this. I like their twist on bringing pop and classical together. I'm not a big fan of either Taylor Swift or who's it sing "Call Me Maybe," Katy
Carly
Perry,
Rae Jepsen.
Carly Rae Jepsen. Right? Okay, sorry about that. So I'm not a big fan of either one of those, but I really like the way they bring pop in and make classical music a little more interesting. It's not just your traditional Bach and Mozart. Even kind of the way they did and I mean never, that was really funny. Um, this was very entertaining for me.
Yeah, that was a memorable moment.
As I was watching it, I did think that if they went through, I would like to see them wear something different. Now, they were all wearing black, kind of just like a normal choir and orchestra does. I would like to see them kind of shake up their outfits a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. That'd be awesome.
Um, we did have Mel B said they loved it. They weren't sure that the song really worked. I completely disagree. I loved the song, even though I'm not a big fan of Taylor Swift. I loved their rendition of the song.
Yeah.
Howie said that showmance is a new word. They learned a new word. Well, when this came out in 2013, showmance has been around for a long time, Howie.
Oh.
Now, I'll let our listeners know. You and I were just talking about Big Brother offline. Showmance is a word that's used all the time in Big Brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people are in there all summer long. It's very typical for people to hook up. So, showmance is a very common word.
Well, Howie's a one-man show, so I guess he wouldn't know about that unless he maybe hooked up with any of the Deal or No Deal case openers.
That is true. I bet there were, um, and I bet his wife would have something to say about that, though.
Yeah.
Now, Big Brother's over on CBS, and this is an NBC show, so Howie can't cross over to one of the other networks.
No, of course not.
That's right. Do you have anything else on Three Penny Chorus?
That's it.
Okay. We then get Chloe Chanel, and in her intro, we see her in camo out hunting. She said she likes being a tomboy, loves hunting and fishing. Uh, we saw her go back to where it all started at the Farmer's Opry. What'd you think of her intro?
Yeah, it was fun because she's very tiny and she's holding that rifle and shooting deer. So, interesting to see.
Yeah, shooting rifles and stringing up bows, all that type stuff.
Yeah.
She sang the song "Done" by the band Perry. I have no idea what this song is. I mean, I know of the band Perry, but I don't listen to any of their music. Um, I love her. I think she's very cute. I think she really takes care of the stage, takes command of the stage. But this week just didn't do anything for me. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. She's pretty good, but this was really lacking in energy.
Yeah, last time, let's see, Mel B said in her Vegas performance that she wanted her to sing Taylor Swift and LeAnn Rimes. They really wanted her to kind of uh, work on her, or not work on her range, but uh, what's the word? How I'm trying to say this. They want her range to come out. They really want her to sing in her range. Um, but I don't think that songs from the band Perry really exhibit that.
I don't know. I've been really happy with their song choices so far. I think they have an attitude that fits the little girl country persona pretty well, even if she has not actually experienced the things literally being said in the lyrics. But I I don't know. I like the song choices. So
Okay, that's fair. Um, Howard called her sweet and sassy, but he felt it was like a beauty pageant.
yeah, I don't know. That's seems a little harsh, maybe.
Did you notice when she kind of lost her breath or had the little mishap there at the end?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I didn't catch that until they said it. Um, it's a shame. I mean, she is good, um, but just wouldn't do anything for me. I didn't have her. I didn't expect her to move on.
Yeah, I think it was nerves, like Mel said.
That is true. It is a big stage, and she's 11 years old. But we've had other young girls come on there and take command of the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else for Chloe Chanel?
Nope.
Okay. We then get Champions Forever. And we find out in their intro, well, they're what they call a spectacular basketball show. They basically spin basketballs and ride unicycles and do all that type stuff. We find out in their intro that this is a family of 14, two parents and 12 kids.
Yeah, that's wow.
But not only that, we find out the dad also grew up in a family of 12.
Dang.
This is a very extended family.
Oh yeah, their gatherings must be huge.
Yeah,
They probably
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving must be ridiculous.
yeah, they might lean towards the mom side for things like that.
That is true. That is true. Now, this is the first time that we've seen them. I think we saw a blip of them as a montage and auditions.
Mm-hmm.
They got put straight through in Vegas, so I didn't know what to expect from them.
Yeah.
In their performance, though, they started out with the smallest kids, who are twins, twin girls, and they probably looked what, 6, 5, somewhere around in there.
They're 4.
They are 4. Okay. They come out riding some small bicycles, and then the rest of the family comes out on unicycles spinning basketballs.
Yeah. This was more impressive and delightful than I expected it to be honest.
I agree with you. I thought it was actually pretty impressive. I really liked how like the adults had taller unicycles, and as the kids got smaller, their unicycles also got smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I thought it was very impressive, but I didn't feel it was $1 million act.
Yeah, Howard is right that them being family adds a lot. Um he meant it kind of negatively. I can see what he's saying.
Right. The family aspect adds some interesting part to it. If it was just 14 individuals that really didn't have any relation, it probably wouldn't be as spectacular. But their story is probably more impressive than their performance.
Yeah. And the song choice was super lame. This is not one of One Direction's best.
You're talking about "Live While We're Young."
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't grade a One Direction song to save my life. I don't know One Direction song from another.
Yeah. Well, it kind of fit their vibe, I guess. It was pretty kitsch.
Yeah, I mean it was a fun song. It was it kind of was very upbeat. It's a family type thing, so it kind of made a little sense to me. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just let me ask you this: since this is the first time that we've seen Axe, and I haven't gone back to I don't have any scientific information. I'm just asking your opinion on this. Acts that we have, when we get to quarterfinals, do acts already have an uphill to climb because we haven't seen them before?
I don't know. I think this might not have been quite as great if we had seen them before. The judges, I think, didn't like them as much as we did, so maybe that says something, but I don't know. There's a lot of people it feels like we're still getting to know, so it's kind of, I don't know, it almost feels like an extension of auditions in a way. It's weird.
It is weird because since we don't have a history with them, we don't know what they can do. To us, this is their audition.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about, or we may have talked about this a little bit in season 11 with the golden buzzer. Do you think the judges felt that they didn't have much, so they went ahead and put them through anyway? or do you think they actually felt like they were a good act and they went ahead and put them through anyway?
I think they thought they were good. They were probably pretty charmed. I don't know if it has anything to do with the stage size issue that we've talked about before. I don't know if that reaches that level, but yeah, I think they thought they were good.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything else for Champions Forever?
Tori and Tessa's guide to unicycle riding. Look at the floor. Don't go fast. Look where you're going.
That's right. And Howard says that the family makes an interesting production, but also makes an interesting reproduction.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else for Champions Forever, we'll go ahead and move on.
All right.
We then move to Sensation, and this still, in my Google document, can't get this right at all. It's spelled Sensetion, and I still don't understand why it's spelled this way.
Yeah. I have
Okay.
no idea.
Okay. We find out that they're a 3D mapping dance group. They're all professional dancers, and they would see each other at auditions, and they just decided they wanted to get together to form a group to kind of make themselves stand out. So they came up with the idea of video mapping, and they project things onto surfaces. That's basically what video mapping is just projections onto a surface. And they said they received the influence, or they got the influence, by looking at the fountains in Vegas when they were in Vegas for Vegas Week.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a little unique. I'll kind of talk about in a minute what it reminds me of. But what'd you think of their performance?
I thought it was quite enjoyable. It was a fun little groove.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. It was original. I don't think I've ever seen anything in this manner. It did remind me of the way that Disney World does their nighttime show on Cinderella's Castle.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with this at all?
I don't think I've seen that one.
Okay. Every night, they do a projection light show up on the castle, and basically it just projects different types of things up on the surface of the castle, and they can transform the castle pretty much into anything they want based on this projections. And that kind of reminded me of, this reminded me of that, of how they do it. So, Howard was it Howard or Howie? One of them said that they didn't understand that there was no story. And I don't think that it needed a story. I thought it was just cool what they were doing.
Yeah. Heidi said it was like a nightclub in Ibiza. I think she's probably been to so many nightclubs in Ibiza that at a certain point there's just diminishing returns.
Yes.
The big star that she is. But
I wonder if she took her family to those.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yes, that's right.
And the crowd didn't boo her for saying that, which I support, but I think it's mostly just a sign that they are on her side with that one.
Yes. Now, I think they did a better job with it than, was it Dave Shirley?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if it was as good as Kenichi.
Yeah. Howard is right that Kenichi is much more masterful.
Yes, he is. But I think a lot of it, not just the projection that his was good, but his dancing as well was much better.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to think of them if they would move on. If I was thinking as I was watching this, if they were to move on, would they kind of take the advice and make a story, or do they already have things in the can that they want to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would be interested in seeing more from them.
I would too. May have to look them up for the next show and see what's going on with them. Anything else for Sensation?
No.
And then this got me thinking after this performance, and it was commented on later as well. The judges seemed to be in a bad mood.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Nick brought it up that people were tweeting in that the same thing. Judges were in just bad mood, but Howard was saying he wasn't in a bad mood. He was just being honest.
Yeah.
But they
Um,
just their mood just seemed worse tonight than it had been in the past.
Probably so. Yeah.
Let's see. So then we get the Robotics, and they're a rock group, and we find out the oldest member is 16 years old, and the drummer received a toy drum set as a baby, so he was always destined to be a drummer.
Yes. Their drummer talks like such a pro. He was just really fun to watch.
He was a lot of fun to watch, and they even mentioned that. Howard mentions that the drummer is the most exciting part of the group. And if the drummer is the most exciting part or the most popular one, then there's a problem. And he rattled off several, including Phil Collins. I'm not sure who the other one was that he mentioned. Um, but yeah, your drummer shouldn't be the main focus of your group.
Yeah. I hope he's doing great things. I wasn't able to find anything on what he's doing now.
Well, he's probably in high school at this point.
Yeah, well, that's
He's
true.
probably just in the marching band somewhere in high school.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I really noticed about this group was the musicians were much louder than the vocals.
Yeah, there was some heavy guitar.
There was a lot of guitar. And I think the judges even mentioned that as well, that the vocals didn't sound too good. And this just got me thinking. This reminded me of Huey Lewis from Back to the Future when he just said,
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
the musicians were just I don't know if that was on purpose or just production didn't bring up her mic loud enough or what, but the musicians were definitely drowning her out.
Yeah, I wasn't really feeling this song too hard. I wish they were doing an original or something. But Brandon and Savannah stood out to me more because of the song choice.
I couldn't figure out what the song was, so I couldn't even hear the vocals. So I could figure out what the song was.
Oh, yeah, I figured you would know. It sounded more classic, I guess.
What was it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell. I couldn't hear the words.
Oh,
I
okay.
had no idea what the song was. Um, but yeah, if I were to compare them against Brandon and Savannah and American Hitmen would still be number one amongst the rock groups,
Yeah, that's fair.
and then Brandon, and then these guys.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, that's all I've got for the Robotics. Do you have anything else for the Robotics?
The AGT wiki says they performed Black Sabbath's Paranoid.
Yeah, I don't know that song.
Okay. Ozzy Osbourne, wife of former judge Sharon Osbourne.
Sharon
Husband
Osbourne.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, husband of Sharon Osbourne. Yep. Okay, Black Sabbath. Yeah, I didn't listen to much Black Sabbath. I don't think I have any songs. I mean, they're great. It's very classical. Um, I just wouldn't know that song.
Yeah.
Thanks for finding that.
Sure.
Anything else on the Robotics?
That's all I got.
Okay. We then get Timber Brown, and we find out that he got into acrobatics as a kid, and it looked like that we were seeing him climb trees in New York City.
Yeah.
Okay, is that legal?
I don't know, but I thought it was cool.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it was cool that he was doing it. I just was surprised. I mean, maybe they got permission from New York City to do that, but
Yeah.
I don't know, just found that a little odd.
Yeah.
We found out his dad struggled with alcohol, and his mom was a drug addict, but she hasn't seen him in a few years. But she's been sober for 3 years and has never seen him perform.
Well, she was here tonight.
Yes, she was. She was in the audience tonight.
Cool.
That was exciting
Cool.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
We started off seeing him hang from a ball from the ceiling and twirling around. He didn't have his shirt on. I'm sure Heidi and Mel B liked that. What'd you think of his performance?
Um, the song was bad. It was a Fall Out Boy song,
Oh,
one
okay.
of their worst ones. Not that I have anything against Fall Out Boy, but that song is not great. My songs Know What You Did in the Dark is what it's called.
Okay.
And this whole thing was athletic, but I didn't really like it that much. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. It sounds like you're in the minority on this one then.
Yeah, best act of the night apparently.
That's right. According to all the judges so far, it's the best act of the night. Uh, everyone absolutely loved it. I thought he made it look effortless
That is true.
when when he has one, he's holding on by one arm and he's perpendicular to the ball. It looks like he's being held up by something else. It doesn't look like that his one arm is the only thing holding him onto that ball.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I need to watch it again. I don't know. It just kind of seemed like a lot of spinning around to me.
It was a lot of spinning around. I will agree with that. I think that was part of it though, is especially when he got inside the ball, he was spinning really fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, Mel B asked him why he chose that particular apparatus, and he wanted to show that he's versatile. He's done. I think we saw him in Vegas. He's done pole dancing twice, so it was nice to see him do something different.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great that uh, it's great to know that he can do other things besides just pole dancing.
Yeah.
Did you notice kind of how emotional he got when he finished?
Oh yeah, that was nice.
And they kept trying to get his mom on camera, trying to
Mhm.
find his mom in the audience.
Mhm.
This whole performance, his whole two and a half minutes was just great.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you liked it.
I did, I really did. I'd like for you to go back and watch it. I think you may have a different appreciation if you rewatched it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on Timber Brown?
No.
Well, we find out that the Backstreet Boys are going to be back. They're going to be on the results show.
Wow.
I know. Are you excited to see the Backstreet Boys?
Not really.
Okay, that's fine.
Did you see their performance?
I did watch their performance. We will talk a little bit about their performance. Not a lot, but we'll talk a little about the performance when we get to results.
Okay.
We then get Cammie Bradley, and she told us she's a music director at her church, and she's always been an introvert. She loves riding motorcycles. She said she likes speed. She's most uncomfortable when she's on the stage, and her husband encouraged her to step outside of her comfort zone. What'd you think of her intro?
It was a nice little interview.
It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was kind of nice seeing her riding her motorcycles. It's funny she's a motorcycle rider. That's great. Um, it seems like she would be more into danger acts type stuff.
Oh, really?
I mean, she's motorcycle rider. She said she likes speed. Sounds like she's kind of a daredevil.
Yeah.
She sang "Believe" by Cher. Did you know this song?
Yeah, a little bit. I just heard a cool mashup that uses this song, so yeah, that's kind of I've heard it.
The main tagline is, "Do you believe in life after love?"
Yeah.
And in fact, before I actually looked, I mean, I knew the song, but I just wanted to make sure. And for the longest time, that's actually what I thought the song title was.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought this was a great rendition of it. What'd you think?
I don't know. I thought it was pretty boring, but she's a good singer. I don't know. It didn't do a whole lot for me.
I really like that she played the piano as well, and we've talked several times about the singers that sit down and actually play the piano. I feel it improves their performance when they do that.
Yeah, I do too. I like that. And I like the synthesizer that she had inside the grand piano shell.
Well, now, we'll let you know that wasn't a grand piano. She was playing an upright,
Okay, okay.
which I thought was an interesting choice as well, because we see most of these singers playing grand pianos or synthesizers, but this was an upright piano.
Yeah. What is it? What is the difference?
Well, an upright is it's smaller for one thing because it's more for space. And I had to look it up. I mean, I know the difference between an upright and a grand, but I was just kind of curious if there was a difference in sound or what's kind of the big differences between an upright and a grand piano. And what I found out is that basically a grand piano and an upright piano can put out the same quality of sound. Basically, it's based on how it's made and what it's made from. The only difference is the way that the. Do you kind of know how a piano works, like the insides of a piano?
Yeah.
So it has hammers and strings and all that type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a grand piano, when you strike it and the hammer goes up to strike the strings, well, it has gravity that pulls it back down. So the sound is more consistent. The way it reacts is more consistent because gravity, it's consistent. It doesn't change. Whereas an upright, it uses springs. So, it strikes it, but then it has to have a spring in order to bring that hammer back. Well, based on humidity, barometric pressure, time of day, whatever, that spring can react differently and give you a different type of sound.
Okay. That's
Uh,
cool.
yeah, little lesson for those of you that want to know the difference between an upright and a grand piano.
So was she actually playing an upright piano? I thought she had like a synthesizer in there.
Well, that's a good question. You mentioned a synthesizer. I don't. Since she did pick the upright, that does kind of bring an interesting question of is was it an actual upright or did it was it just a keyboard synthesizer with an upright shell around it? I don't know. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Maybe I got
Uh,
confused by some colors or something. I don't know.
okay. Um, just thinking about seeing her play the upright kind of just got me thinking because we typically see them play a grand piano.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you typically don't you see it upright kind of in someone's home that doesn't have a lot of space, or back in the westerns you'd see it in the bar, those type things. So
Yeah, that's cool.
just some nice little lesson there for you all that want to know the difference. Um, all of the judges loved it. Mel B called it very bloody brave. Um, she said that it gave Cher an idea of how to sing that song. So it sounded like everybody really liked it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for Cammie Bradley?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we then get into Tummy Talk, and we find out that they've been musicians for a long time, and they thought it would be a funny idea to take musical skills and put it on a human body. We found out that the drum, as they call him, the big guy, was not just some random dude. It's actually a guy that's a member of the group, and he's a youth counselor, and they say he makes a great instrument. What'd you think of their intro?
Yeah, that guy didn't say a word the entire time. That was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. It's almost like he was a mute, like he just doesn't talk.
Yeah. I mean, they objectify him a lot, I guess.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Uh, they come out to Eye of the Tiger, and they went with kind of a boxing theme. They even had girls in the background holding the boxing round signs, which I thought this was just a really weird theme to go with.
Yeah, it was.
They said they were the heavyweight tummy champion of the world. What'd you think of their performance?
This is so dumb.
It's just
The drumming was too quiet. It's no Maliva, or not the drum. I mean, the whole thing in general. I guess it seemed like there was like too much silence. I guess, but yeah, they're no Malivo in terms of drum energy, and I kind of side with the Buzz.
yes. Would you rather them taking bolos and hitting with him? Or you
Uh,
think that would have really hurt?
yeah,
That would have really hurt. No, throughout this whole thing, I was just like bored. I was absolutely bored through the whole thing.
yeah, and there were some interesting comments from Howie that he wanted them to be more serious musicians with the comedy. I thought that was interesting and a very nuanced argument from Howie.
Right. Howie said that music is their specialty, comedy is not their specialty. And they were trying to put comedy on top of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he knows the formula.
I guess so. He's performed in Radio City Music Hall before.
Yeah, yeah. And Howard and him started clashing a little bit. I was wondering if they showed more of that in the results show, because I would really like to hear them battle it out.
I don't think they talked about that much in the results show. I think they were kind of on board together
Okay.
with the way the results came out.
Okay.
Um, I also noticed that half of their act wasn't even like tummy stuff. Like
Yeah.
they would actually go and use snare drums.
Yeah. It was weird.
It was very awkward. So this got me thinking. I got a question for you. What is production thinking when they are tasked to help make this act a good act? Like, does Tummy Talk come and say, "Hey, we have this idea. You know, we want to do a boxing theme. We want some girls behind us holding boxing round signs. We need snare drums. We're going to have our big guy kind of beat on a toy snare drum with toy cymbals. What do you think? What do you think of that? Can you make that happen?" And then production's like, whatever you guys say. Or do you think production comes to them and say, "Hey, we have this idea. What do you think of this?"
Um, I think it was probably Tummy Talk's idea, and they got criticized pretty hard on the weak comedy of it, I guess. I think it was probably their doing.
So do you think production steps in at any point and says, I'm not so sure you should do that, or do you think they give any input or any feedback or any pushback at all to these acts?
Probably. I mean, some of them are just unstoppable. They make some pretty questionable changes to their acts, but yeah.
So, some are just bad, and they're just bad, and there's just not much you can do about it.
Yeah, or like I don't know, there's some acts that kind of just change their whole entire thing. It's rare, but it does happen.
That is true. The judges will actually say, "Hey, you should do this." They then go do it, and it totally screws up their act.
Yeah.
Does production have any input on songs that are sung?
Well, I don't know, because you do have to license them. There was one time that a choir couldn't license the song that they wanted in time, so I mean, I'm sure they have blanket deals with most labels, like Simon's label and things like that. So, um, that factors into it. But other than that, I don't know that they would have much input.
Okay, good, good, yeah, okay. Well, then we move right. Oh, do you have anything else for Tummy Talk?
I do not.
Okay. Well, then we move right into your boy Taylor Williams, and we find out that in his intro that he once invited a girl to one of his shows, and she said, "Is this pretty much what you do every day?" And he was like, "Yeah," and he never saw her again. This is pretty much his life. It's just performing in little bars to like 5 people, and we do see his house,
Mm-hmm.
and he says he does yoga, and he felt like that this was a big prank by Howie.
Yeah.
What'd you think? What'd you think of his whole intro?
Um, sometimes that makes me wonder, like, how many people are paranoid that they're being pranked just whenever they're on TV. I think about that more than the average person, probably. But yeah, he's funny. I think this might have been funnier than his actual act tonight. I don't know. I liked it.
Okay, good. Well, he came out to "Tell Me What You Want" by the Spice Girls, and then he goes right into a jihad joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we get some jokes. And I can't do these jokes any justice at all. We get Nick after it's over talking about hashtag Freddy Cougars because that was one of his jokes. Let me just ask, what do you think of his performance overall?
He's pretty good. I think the funniest part was the finale. He used the list pretty well.
Yeah, he had to go through his list to check off all the jokes that he told.
Yeah, and then he got a standing ovation from the audience and the judges.
Yes, he did.
So, yeah, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed this. I kind of agree with Howie. Howie says that this guy is funny, and he tries to tell them, the judges, that don't focus on the material. The guy as a whole is funny.
Yeah, he's been saying a lot and don't focus on the material, it seems.
I mean, the material itself is still good. And the way in auditions, or not in auditions, in Vegas week, where to me his whole act was pretending like he didn't have an act. I thought that was genius. I think um, that this whole set was really good. Just the way he kind of just flows through things. It's more like he's just telling stories. I personally like comedians that tell stories. They tell like a 15-20 second little story, and then there's kind of a punchline at the end. I'm not a big fan of comedians that just tell one-liners.
Yeah. So you felt like he was telling stories?
I feel like he was kind of telling us in his own way. We know his history already from his package. This is now his third time. We know the type of humor that he has. So from his stories, he's basically telling jokes about his life, in essence, which are stories.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're short, abbreviated stories. It only has 90 seconds to do it. But that's just, I don't know. It felt like it was well put together.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but then we get, all the judges really liked it except the Grinch Heidi.
Well,
And yeah, go ahead.
um, I think you'll be very pleased with how Taylor takes this feedback.
Yes. So Taylor, she says that she thinks Taylor's adorable, but she doesn't like the material, and she doesn't think that his comedy is something that she would take her kids to. So once again, we get Heidi, that's the speaker of quote the family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's really starting to get to me that she is judging these acts based on whether she would take her family to go see them.
Oh, trust me, it is worth it in this case. Just wait.
Yeah, it gets. Uh, Taylor really has a great comeback later on when we get to results. So he is very witty. He's very smart and sharp.
Yeah, yeah. I love
Uh,
that. That's my
yeah,
favorite part about him.
yes. I don't think that he takes any of her feedback with a grain of salt at all.
Okay.
I think he seems very humble to me. He knows he's not like this great comedian. I mean, obviously he's been performing in just little coffee shops and whatever. So he knows he's just like a normal type dude, but he also knows that his material is his material, and people are going to like it or they're not going to like it, and that is comedy. People are going to like comedy or not like comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
But to get onto him based on his material and whether she would take her family. That just bugs me.
Yeah, this was a little on the edgier side. I guess he was pushing it a little bit, but you know,
But he
nice way
did push.
to.
He did push it a little bit, especially with the jihad joke. I don't know if that would fly in 2017. I know we're only 3.5 years removed from this performance. I just think the 3.5 years that have passed, I'm not sure a jihad joke would fly today.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, okay. Anything else for Taylor Williams?
I tried to call the number to vote for him, but I just got a busy signal.
Ah, did you continue to try? Nick tells you continue to try.
No, I guess the lines were jammed. Everyone was voting for him.
Did you vote on Twitter?
No, I should have.
Oh, you could have had your one vote on Twitter.
I'll send out a tweet later.
Okay, okay. Well, the results have already been announced. You know, we watched those last night. So
Yeah.
so okay. We then get to aerial ice, and they said they've skated since children. We get an Olympic reference. Sarah Hughes, an Olympic gold medalist, sent them a note, said good luck. So NBC talking about the Olympics. Speaking of which, we are 1 year out from the Winter Olympics.
Whoa.
So this time next year, when we're talking about season 9, may have to take a break because I got to watch the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
Okay. So they're kind of a ice skating aerial act, and they perform on, in essence, plastic. They skate on plastic. And what they told us in their intro was they had to perform in or practice in 2 different parts of New York City. One where they could lay down their quote skating rink, and they say they can take this anywhere and lay it down anywhere and just skate. And another place where they had to practice their aerial act, and they were just able to bring the 2 together very recently in order to perform. What do you think of their performance?
They had a cool set. It was kind of a multi-level set, but it
Yeah,
wasn't really all that thrilling, I think.
yeah, I liked the set. It was kind of a ballroom type setting. Is that kind of
Yes,
what you
yes.
got? Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Then they had a ramp kind of coming from the upper level down to the lower level. Um, and then when they finished, does it seem like they have a lot of people in their group?
Yeah.
It seemed like when they finished, I think they only saw like 5 or 6 people.
Oh, okay.
I thought there was like 10 or 12 people in this group.
Yeah, yeah.
I must be totally mistaken on that. Um, I wasn't that impressed, but in my mind, I think I was more impressed by it than I want to believe that I was. Like I'm sitting there just watching it, and I want to imagine that they're skating on ice and they're doing this aerial act, but at the same time, I'm like, eh, eh.
Yeah.
Howie mentioned again that this is the year of combining different talents. So, we talked about that earlier on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi said this is what AGT is all about. We're kind of getting some different stuff in here.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you got anything else to say about aerial ice? I mean, it's just kind of ice skating and aerial act.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
Okay. We can get right into David Furman. And we saw this intro package that he's on a unicycle and he's juggling some fire. And his mom didn't know that he was going to take money out of his bar mitzvah account and use it to pay for his Vegas week.
Yeah, it's an interesting story.
He said that the stunt he was going to do tonight, he could have done in Vegas, but he chickened out because he said he could die.
Yeah, this was an incredibly daring trick. Howard is right that it's easy to forget that he's juggling upside down too, but I think it was a little too short. I think he should have done like 70 instead of 50 catches or 100 with more time maybe. So That was kind of a disappointment, but it was a really good track.
I am absolutely 100% agreeing with you on the time thing. It seemed like it ended really fast. I wanted to kind of see the fire come a little, or I guess the drum come a little bit closer to him.
Yeah.
When he started juggling, and I saw that counter just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm like, this is going to be over quick.
Yeah. If it was at an Alexandria the Great pace, it might have been pretty awesome.
That's true. Now we mentioned, or you talked about juggling upside down. Did we see someone juggle upside down in season 11?
Oh yes, the passing zone.
The
One of the
passing
guys
zone
was
did.
swinging.
Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it was still really. It's still cool to juggle upside down though,
Yeah, yeah.
especially when you have burning balls.
Hmm.
Getting a little childish there in the judges panel with burning balls.
Yeah, save it for the Snapple Lounge.
That's yeah, for the frat party. Uh, Howard said it was talented. Setup takes too long. They mentioned again his showmanship.
Yeah, I think they're kind of right about that.
I felt he did better at the beginning. I don't know if they talked that he took too long explaining something at the beginning, whereas before he didn't explain anything enough. So, is there kind of a balance in that?
I guess so. I didn't mind the explanation. I just wish there had been more after the build up, I guess.
I agree. I didn't mind the explanation either. I wanted the actual act to be a little bit longer and to be a little more intense.
Yeah.
Anything else on David Furman?
Nope.
Okay. We then get our last performance of the night. We get Jimmy Rose from Pineville, Kentucky, and he sang it. He would sing at church with his mom. We then found out again that when you in Pineville, when you graduate high school, there's pretty much only one thing you can do, and that's to go work in the coal mines because coal keeps the lights on.
Yeah.
But he decided that since he was going to risk his life in the coal mines, that he would just join up with the Marines. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's admirable.
We find out that he's now getting his associate's degree, so he's working on education. He's looking like he's trying to make a life for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he sang Heaven by Bryan Adams. What'd you think of this?
A couple of the pitches were a bit off, but for the most part, it was actually pretty good. I liked it.
I really liked it too. I've never heard a country version of this song before, and when he sang it, I was like, that song's really familiar. And I found out I have it, so I went and added it to my playlist. I didn't even have it in my playlist to listen to, so now I'm gonna listen to Heaven.
Yeah, this is a good combo of song and genre. It's that worked really well.
It did work really well. I like how he kind of countrified it, but still made it sound like it was a Bryan Adams song.
Yeah, I like the song.
Did you notice that he kind of looked a little more grown up? I couldn't tell what it was, but I think in auditions and maybe in Vegas, he still kind of had this young adult, maybe early 20s type look to him. But now I don't know what it was, but he looked a little bit older.
Yeah, perhaps.
I really like this. I'm not sure if it was enough to get him through. I was hoping it would, but I was kind of on the fence whether it would be enough to get him through.
Yeah, I agree.
Mel B said this is one of her favorite songs, but it didn't hit the spot for her.
Mm-hmm. That's fair, I guess. I don't know.
Howie then takes another shot at Marty Brown.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually wish. I feel bad for Marty Brown, but I wish Howie would let this go.
Yeah.
Do you think Marty Brown is sitting at home and like, man, why can't they just leave me alone? It's like
I wish they would have cut to a shot of Marty Brown watching
Yeah,
at home.
with his arms like up in the air, like, wait, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else on Jimmy Rose?
Nope.
Do you have anything else on the performances?
That's all.
Okay. Well, we'll get right into the results. And in the results show, once again, we kind of see some behind the scenes from the night before. And I really like this type stuff. I just really like behind the scenes production, what went on during the show. We kind of see a little clip of the judges talking about being nervous before the show starts.
Okay.
Howie just asking Heidi or Mel B, "Hey, are you nervous?" "No, I'm not really. I'm a little nervous. Show's getting ready to start. We're getting ready to go out there. I don't know what to do." I think we also saw we saw it now. I think we saw it now. But we definitely saw it later. We got to see Mel B and Heidi without their makeup on.
Okay.
So that was a little interesting to see because we always see Heidi all dolled up, but this time she was au naturel.
Yeah.
We see Chloe Chanel crying after her performance.
Oh.
We saw Champions Forever said that Howard came down on them.
Yeah.
And that's when he was kind of in his, what he called honest. He was just being honest.
Yeah.
Howie saying he made a big mistake by pulling for tummy talk in the earlier rounds.
I would have to agree.
Yeah, he said he was pulling for him in the in auditions, and he wanted them to do well, but now not so much.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of performances he was expecting them to give. If he was looking for something like the Earth Harp or something.
Yeah, that's kind of a high bar to try to reach if you're trying to go to Earth Harp levels.
Yeah.
We then get we were notified that Timber Brown was the first act of the night to trend worldwide.
Cool.
Worldwide.
That's pretty good. I'm surprised, honestly.
Yeah. Chloe says that Cammy is good while Cammy was on stage performing.
Yeah.
Taylor says, because in response to Heidi, Taylor said he's used to hot girls not liking him.
Yeah.
Howie predicts that Cammy and Taylor will go through.
Okay.
Heidi and Mel B love Timber Brown.
Yeah.
I know all this is not exciting, but just kind of some stuff that went on. Nick brought up that online was talking about how grumpy the judges were.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of that. And then we get Nick asking Howie if Howie ever wonders what happens to acts that don't get past auditions. And Howie's like, yeah, I've always wondered that. Well, then we go to a feature of Al Harris.
Okay, that's weird.
The prop comic from auditions. And we see Al's house and an entire room where he keeps all of his props.
Oh my gosh.
And I wish I'd wrote down some of the newer props that we got from Al, but I totally missed on that. He says right now he kind of performs in the community. He performs at, it's probably not the politically correct word, some old folks' homes, some senior citizen homes.
Yeah.
He performs for senior citizens. He says it's really good because he can tell them a joke, come back a day later, and they don't remember that they just told him that joke.
Okay.
He says he tells hammer time jokes to old people. He has a hammer and he has a watch. He's banging on the watch with the hammer. It's hammer time.
Okay.
We saw the colorblind in the background in his house.
Oh, that's cool.
He then, at the end, had a sign on his balcony that read, "For someone who was never married, I sure got a lot of exes."
Wow.
And then we have Al in the audience.
Cool.
And Nick is with him in the audience. And Al got Nick a cannon.
No.
And the cannon has a Nick in it.
That's great.
And Nick, in this final part, Nick is trying to go to break, like he's trying to read his teleprompter in order to get to break, and Hal just kept, breaking in and like, oh, here's another thing, oh, and here's another prop, and I got more, and
Good old Al.
just like he was doing, he didn't know when to quit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun few minutes to see what's going on with Al Harris.
Cool.
We come back from break. We go to the frat party in the Orville Lounge,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like production kind of listened to what I said in the first quarterfinals. They took forever to get to results. Well, we're already at results. We get one result now. We'll then have a performance, and then we'll have more results, which is exactly what I said they should have done.
Cool.
Yeah. So this time they did something a little different. Our first group is that. Have you seen the results at all?
No, I didn't watch the show.
Okay. So this is our little game we play where you try to figure out who's going through.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the robotics. We have sensation. We have tummy talk. And we have David Furman.
Huh.
We have 4 acts in this group.
Is this a quadruple wipeout?
This is a quadruple wipeout.
Okay.
Every single one of them was sent home.
That's brutal.
Yeah, I was totally shocked by this. I figured if they're going to do 4 of them in a group, I figured David Furman was the one that was going to go through from this group.
Yeah. Radio City Massacre, never forget.
That's right. Mel B was shocked by this, so knocked out a third of the group, third of the acts right there,
Mm-hmm.
which is very similar to what they did in the first week of quarterfinals, where 6 acts went straight home.
That's true. Yeah.
So, well, they do that, and then we find out some celebrities have been tweeting the acts, the performers. We get another Olympics reference. Christy Yamaguchi tweeted to Ariel Ice. So, yeah, Ariel Ice getting love from all kinds of skaters out there.
Yeah. That's
Good.
good.
You know Christy Yamaguchi and Sarah Hughes?
No.
Okay. Well, they're Olympic gold medalists for skating.
Cool.
Figure skating. Yeah. Christy Yamaguchi, I think, is back in the 90s. I think was her big heyday.
Okay.
The band Perry said they loved Chloe Chanel. So that's huge.
Yeah.
You were talking about Fall Out Boy earlier.
Uh-huh.
Fall Out Boy tweeted at Timber Brown.
Oh. Well, maybe that's how he's trending worldwide.
Yep, that's true. We found out for Jimmy Rose, their entire town was having a viewing party during the show.
That's cool.
Yeah. They even showed a picture of the entire town, and the entire town literally fit in the frame of a picture. I mean, it was like 500 people, if that.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was one season, I think it was before this one, where somebody from my city made it pretty far, and I remember they showed some things from there. That was pretty cool. So
That is cool.
I guess that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of have your own local celebrity.
Yes. Well, to mention Austin again, previous special guest on the show, he saw him at the store once.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then we get Taylor Williams, and Nick says that hashtag Freddy Cougar should be a thing.
So he was not successful the previous night in getting that started.
I guess not. I'll have to look to see if we can get hashtag Freddy Cougar coming back.
Okay.
Maybe if we can get all our listeners to hashtag Freddy Cougar, then maybe we can get it trending again. He said he had a lot of girls messaging him after the show, but it was mainly 13 to 15-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
And he says he calls his fans, and you're probably one of these, a Tay-Lord.
Yeah, I think it's Taylord.
Oh, is it Lord with the D?
Yeah.
Oh, a Tay-Lord. Okay. Need to get that. Okay. He called out Heidi, which I loved this. He called out Heidi because, she's saying that she wouldn't take her family to go see his act. But he said that her entire job was to walk around in her underwear.
Yeah, I think that might still be more family friendly than jihad jokes, but I don't know.
That is true. That is true. But do you think she would ever take her kids to a Victoria's Secret fashion show?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, then we go to break and we come back, and Backstreet is back.
Wow.
We get the Backstreet Boys, and Backstreet Boys were big when I was in middle school and early high school. I didn't like them then. I don't like them now.
Okay.
It's weird. It's really weird seeing these guys that were probably in their early 20s, late teens, maybe. It's really weird seeing them today performing their same songs, dancing the same way, having girls. They brought girls up on stage, and they kind of did another stage on top of the stage, and they had girls wrapped around that other stage,
Yeah.
and they were dancing. It's really weird. They were wearing their typical white outfits. I think they even had white hats. I mean, all white, just like they did 20 years ago. It was so weird.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of in this era where we want our singers from way back when to make comebacks and nostalgia and all that, but I think Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, Spice Girls are kind of making a comeback. I still think that's weird. Just those type bands, I just think is really, really, really weird. But
Yeah.
I wish they would have gotten anyone else but this.
No, dang. That's harsh.
Yeah, sorry, Backstreet Boys. I don't want you back.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, they finish and we come back from break and we get more results.
Cool.
We get Three Penny Chorus and Cammie Bradley.
This has got to be Cammie Bradley, right?
It was Cammie Bradley. I was hoping they would have done a both of you going through on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to hear more from Three Penny Chorus.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of groups that do this kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay. Howard said he made Cammie a promise that she would go through, and America backed him up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, either one of those I would have been fine with. I think Cammie did a really good job. I really liked the song she sang. I would like for both of them to go on through, though.
Yeah. I'd probably prefer Cammie out of those two.
Okay, it's fair. The next group we get is Aerial Ice, Jimmy Rose, and Champions Forever.
Jimmy Rose.
Jimmy Rose it is, and I was really happy to see this. He was kind of getting choked up when they announced it.
Yeah, yeah.
They went to Howie. Howie thought it was a no-brainer.
Okay.
Took more shots at Marty Brown.
Oh my god.
He basically said, "Look, if Marty Brown, this is all it was. If Marty Brown can get through, it should be a no-brainer for you to go through."
All right.
God, Marty Brown. I think you're right. He's just sitting at home like, what did I do? I mean, America voted for me.
Yeah.
Nothing he could do about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The final group we get is Timber Brown, Chloe Chanel, and Taylor Williamson. So who got voted through?
Taylor Williamson?
No.
Well,
Timber Brown. is the one that was voted through.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess that makes
So,
sense.
yeah. So then it went to judges' vote for Chloe Chanel and Taylor Williamson.
Yeah.
Is it Williamson or is it Williams?
Williamson.
Williamson. Okay, I think I had Williams earlier. Okay. So yeah, it went to judges' vote for both of them. We get Heidi that picked Chloe, which was kind of a given considering what she thought of Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, she likes Taylor, she just didn't like the material. So,
Yeah.
and then, Howie's telling her, don't focus on the material.
Uh-huh.
Howie went with Taylor.
Okay.
Howard went with Taylor.
Cool.
Okay. And they are dragging this out as long as they possibly can. I mean, they're just talking like, oh, this one. Oh, I like that one. Oh, I don't know which one to do. I don't know. I mean, they're just going on forever about it. They get to Mel B, and credits are rolling. While Mel B is trying to make a decision, credits are rolling.
Yeah.
And Mel B says, Chloe.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it a tie. So we're getting to the end of credits. You see someone from production just sprint out onto the stage to hand Nick the envelope. Nick didn't have any time to kind of put any suspense on. He's just like rushing to get the envelope open as quickly as possible, and he just announces Taylor Williamson, and it goes to black.
Someday they're gonna get so close that they just swing the camera over to whoever has that envelope, and he just yells it out.
Yeah, just someone off stage just yell it out, or it'll just go to black and nobody will know who it was.
I know. God forbid they delay their next show by 5 seconds.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go into the next week. Oh, you mean delay the actual show that comes on after AGT?
Yeah.
Whatever it might be. What comes on that time of night? I don't even know.
It's all they put so many different things that fail.
Some procedural of the week.
Yeah, or better late than never.
Better late than never. That's right.
Should be an appropriate name if they did that.
Yeah, it is going to be inevitable that they're going to delay this so long that we're not going to know who actually was the final choice. And you mentioned this a long time ago during our season 11, but I've really noticed it now, and it is bugging the heck out of me.
Yeah, I've ruined you.
I don't think I noticed it before. I mean, it's been so long since I watched it, but I don't think I noticed it until you said. But it makes sense. It doesn't. I mean, it makes absolute sense. Or let me phrase that: it makes no sense that it should go that long. That they should take that long, and then there's no response from the judges on who got to go through.
Yeah.
So, any other comments on the results?
I don't think so. We have one more of these to go.
One more of these to go. And our last week is the Virginia State University Gospel Chorus.
Okay, it's them.
Yeah, and I like them. They were great in auditions. So another choir. So what's that, our third choir now?
I don't know.
We have the military spouses. We had Three Penny, and we have them, and Virginia State.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
We then get Catapult Entertainment. Rip off from Silhouettes.
Okay.
Sorry, I shouldn't say rip off. I mean, I'm sure they're a fine group. Duo Resonance. I should have wrote down what they do.
Who that is either.
I think they're a dancing group. I should have wrote down what they do. Too Unique.
Okay.
The rappers.
Yeah.
Rapper and DJ.
Yeah.
Sprice.
Okay.
Which will probably go first, do you think?
Yeah, probably so.
Okay. John Wing, a comedian.
Okay, I have no idea who that is, so I'm interested to see.
It's an older guy. I think he looked like he was like in his 50s. It's an older guy.
Okay.
Melody Caballero, who's a contortionist.
Okay.
Dave Finley, singer.
Okay.
Ruby and Jonas,
Cool.
D'Angelo and Amanda.
Okay. Could probably
So,
schedule them in the same show on purpose.
you think so?
Yeah.
Then Selena, Mackenzie, Gordon. I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, these are a lot of unfamiliar names.
I think she's a singer, but I don't recognize her at all. And Sam Johnson.
That's good.
Think that his top hat.
Yeah, probably so. Seems like could maybe be kind of a weak night overall, but I don't really remember a lot of these, so there could be some good surprises.
There could. I didn't bring in my. Let me kind of vamp here for a minute while I get my top 10, see if my top 10 changed at all. Let me pull that over. I'm still looking that up. Okay, so, yep, so Taylor Williamson goes through. He was in my top 10. So we're still
Okay.
good there. We then get Sam Johnson next week, who's in my top 10. Sprice and Ruby and Jonas. So if I come out of quarterfinals only missing 2, I would be very happy.
Yeah, that'd be quite impressive.
Hitmen, and Fresh Faces.
Yeah. Well, you're doing pretty good so far, but you've got a lot stacked up next week, I guess.
I do, because Sam Johnson, we'll kind of see. He could be a hit or miss. Sprice, depending on what. And we didn't see him in Vegas. We've only seen him do one contraption.
Mm-hmm. There's another one that would have been weird to put on that stage or inconvenient.
What, with just the judges down there?
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of evidence to support that they may put them through for that reason.
Yes, yes. And then Ruby and Jonas, who I think were lucky to get out of Vegas week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of good ones. This one's probably. I mean, we haven't heard from some of these. You know, Selena McKenzie, we don't know who that is. Melody Caballero, I don't know if we've seen her. We don't remember a lot from John Wing, but it's just been so long.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing how it goes.
I am too. So, one more week of quarterfinals, and then we get into semifinals.
Cool.
So, just kind of a follow-up. If you want to reach out to us about any of these acts, you got any comments or questions, you can hit us up on Facebook and Twitter at AGTcast, or send us an email, agtcast@gmail.com. We anxiously await your correspondence. I want to give a shout out to Oinkers12 on Reddit. He's given us some nice feedback on there. We appreciate him listening.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to reach out to us, go. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll read your reviews.
Yes, we'll read your reviews. That'd be great. Yeah, that's also if you go out and leave us a review out on iTunes, we'd really appreciate that too. Reviews help us get up in the listing, and season 12 is going to be out pretty soon, and we kind of want to be up there with other AGT podcasts, if there are any other AGT podcasts.
Yeah, let's just say our iTunes SEO is not good.
Yes. So please go leave us a review, because we want other people to be able to find and listen to us too.
Yeah.
So,
and tell a friend so you don't sound like that crazy person talking about an AGT podcast all the time.
That's right. So you got anything else for this week of quarterfinals?
I don't think so.
Well, until next week, have a good week.
Indeed.